Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with InsideTheU. I would like to provide some insight into Miami's final visit weekend heading into signing day. Just some news and notes that I received based on these 7 official visitors, which is exactly how many people they expected to come. And I can confirm that all 7 were here in attendance. It starts with a couple 5-star guys. Shemar Stewart, defensive lineman out of Monsignor Pace. Many of you have been very curious as to what's going on with his recruitment. Texas A&M certainly in the picture. Will he stay at Miami? Will he go to Texas A&M? It's really down to those 2 schools heading into signing day. So based on the information I received from Miami after his official visit weekend was they believe it's a 50-50 chance that he's going to pick Miami. Now, that might seem a little up in the air, but that's just where things are from a Miami standpoint with how they feel about things. Certainly, we'll see how things play out with Shamar moving forward. But as of now, again, based on what I'm hearing from UM, is that they believe they've got a 50-50 shot in landing Shamar, which would be a big deal considering of the other guys they already have in the signing class along the defensive line. As you know, since Mario Cristobal took over as head coach, getting the defensive line and the offensive line better are 2 key main priorities for him. Let's go straight to the offensive line. And Josh Carnelly Jr., 5-star offensive tackle out of Washington. He's a guy that I've talked about recently, but he's a guy that is going to wait until March to make his decision. So Josh did make the trip down to Miami. It was great to see him there. And I was able to briefly chat with Josh, and he just basically said that it was a fun trip. He enjoyed his time there. So we'll see what happens. Certainly it would be a big get. It's going to be someone that would be added later to the class, but certainly someone that they would love to have in the class. He's the offensive tackle. I posted a little bit about my notes from the Polynesian Bowl. He participated in that. So if you haven't seen that video, definitely check that out as I watched him in action. Moving right along, there's some 4-star guys as well. And I want to start right with Travante Citizen, a running back out of Louisiana. He's an interesting guy. There's a lot of interesting things going on with him. He's a former LSU commit. He still has LSU in his top 4, which was released earlier today. Miami, LSU are in the mix, Auburn as well, and certainly Florida too. Those are the 4 schools in the mix for Travante. And again, from what I was hearing, Miami feels good about with what they're selling or with what they're saying to Travante to get him to come to Miami. And there's a couple things that stood out to me about what Travante likes about Miami. And number 1, in no particular order, but it's running backs coach Kevin Smith. He really likes him as a coach. And also, he really likes the tradition of running backs that Miami has. There's a lot of history dating back for years. Many of you that are fans of the Hurricanes know all about the tradition, the big-time backs that have come out of the University of Miami, and that is appealing to Travante. We will see how it plays out. I was curious of those 4 schools, of the other 3 schools, again, he was previously committed to LSU, Florida, Auburn. Of those 3, which school does Miami, feel is most in contention for him? And they said Auburn. So pay attention to Auburn in this one as well. It's going to come down to the wire. We'll see what Travante does. I think it's good. I think it says a lot about him as a person that he's willing to compete. He knows what's on the roster right now at Miami. And the fact that he's still considering them, I think that says a lot about his character. He's confident in his own abilities. He's one of these 4-star running backs, basically a top 10 running back in the country with a lot of abilities. So certainly I believe he would be a great addition to the roster because I think you can't have enough good running backs. We've seen this in years past. We saw it last year at Miami with how guys got hurt and they get real limited with who they can put on the field. So Travante Citizen, good news. We will see what happens. I don't want to make any predictions in this video, but I just want to provide a little bit of insight and how things are going with certain guys. Inez Cooper's an offensive lineman, 6'6", 352 pounds, a 3-star guy, not as well known, but UM really likes his abilities. Particularly, they really like his upside with his athleticism. They like his quick feet. They feel like he's a guy that can get better, certainly with the development and certainly with Mario Cristobal's history with offensive linemen. They feel good about Cooper. They feel like they can get him on campus. We will see. I think a lot of people are expecting him to pick Miami on signing day. He's a guy out of Alabama. I do want to make mention of that, but we will see. He's a guy with good footwork and certainly some skills to be developed, but there are some positive things with him, which is what you want to see, particularly with those lower rated guys. So certainly Cooper fits in the mold there. Moving right along to a couple defensive linemen for nearby in Broward County at Cardinal Gibbons, R. Mason Thomas and Ahmad Moton, two different guys. Thomas more of that edge rushing guy, that's that speed on the outside. Moton is more of an inside guy. They've got some schools in addition to Miami that are also looking at him. And Thomas is an Iowa State commit. So Iowa State and Oklahoma are both in the mix and Miami for both of these guys. I've been told that they're not necessarily a package deal at all. You do wonder, look, these guys have played together in high school. They play on the same defensive line. They've got some similar schools. Are they going to go ahead and play at the next level? And I'm not saying that they won't, but it's not necessarily a package deal where they absolutely will. So certainly both of them bring some different things to the table. I wasn't able to get a good sense on how their visits went, but I do know that Miami really likes R. Mason Thomas, in particular with his pass rushing ability, because Miami really wants to improve in that area in particular. So R. Mason Thomas is definitely a guy to watch. Ahmad Moton, once again, was on the visit as well. And then just kind of wrapping things up with Kristin Miller, a 4-star All-American Bowl guy, defensive lineman out of Georgia. All I can say right now with him is kind of all signs are pointing to him to pick in Georgia, but he did make the trip to Miami. We'll see what that matters. He did announce during his official visit that he's going to be making his announcement at school there on signing day for whatever that's worth. But again, all signs kind of point to Georgia on this one. We will see how all 7 of these guys go. A lot of things can happen in these closing days before signing day. We've seen a lot of different things happen with National Signing Day, maybe some things where you expected guys leaning one way or the other, and kind of at that last minute, that final hour decision, they pick a different school that goes unexpected. So we will see how these 7 plan out. Once again, it's really just the 6, but because Josh Conerly Jr. is going to wait till March, but the other 6 expected to sign this week, and we will see how it goes. Miami's certainly looking to build on this class, which is ranked 38th in the country right now. 10 members of the signing class in terms of recruits, prospects in high school, but they also have the 5 transfers, which I believe should be counted towards their incoming class because they're all newcomers, and certainly we want that mix of just talent, regardless of how they're coming, whether it's from high school, junior college, or a 4-year university. So you want to add more talent to the roster. We will see how things shake out in a few days. Definitely stay locked into InsideTheU.com for plenty more information. More VIP notes are going to pop up on the website as well. So definitely stay tuned. But I want to thank everybody for checking out this video. Also be sure to, like I said, check out my reaction to the Polynesian Bowl to see some Miami signees in action. Some Miami targets. I mentioned Josh Carnelly Jr., but also Dave Iuli was a guy as well. He's a target as well that participated in that game, in addition to the signees in Cyrus Moss and Jaleel Skinner. So shout out to everybody there. Also, I do want to mention plenty of content on the 2023 recruiting class is still coming. There's a lot of really good prospects, particularly in South Florida. We've already been promoting there on InsideTheU.com. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about these guys with that next recruiting class. So definitely stay locked into the channel. I want to thank everybody once again, and take care.